Sorry? Yeah. Yeah. If we are the same Atman, all of us, and if Atman is conscious of all minds, then how we are also not conscious of all minds, only of our own particular mind. See, Atma is all-knowing. Everything becomes evident to the eye. All right. But then it is consciousness itself. Not that it is conscious of anything. It is consciousness itself. But this consciousness is being experienced, is being lived through a particular body, mind, sense complex, with which it has become identified as though, thanks to the ahankara. The ahankara takes itself to be the body, mind, sense complex, and then therefore it is not aware of other minds and other sense organs, etc. Why? Because the upadhi is finite. The infinite Atman as though abides in a finite upadhi. Since the upadhi has limitations, then what we can know also has limitations. The head is only so big. Even for Ravana, 10 heads means maybe little more information. Actually, it was more confusion than information. That's why he had so many heads. So, therefore, it means that the inhibiting factor is the body, mind, sense complex, Sukshma Sharira, Sthula Sharira, all these things are there, and that's why one is not aware of what is going on in other people's mind. Thank God, really. If you have observed your own thoughts, you will know how boring they are. Yeah, most boring thoughts. And why would you want to look into somebody else's mind and find out their boring thoughts? What a terrible pastime, really. And some people make a living out of that. I'm a mind reader. I'm a sidekick, that's all. Yeah. And that, well, what is there? To know somebody's mind, what does it mean? Well, how is that going to benefit us? Is that going to remove my Atma Ajnanam? No. In fact, it's more of a burden to know other people's minds because you are always cautious of them. Oh my God, they are thinking badly of me. You only feel bad. So better to not know. Bhagavan's setup is like that. Okay, that's why we don't know. If we have agami karma, that we do not intend to do it, how can we be released from it? Same way we are released from sanchita, by self-knowledge. The karmas are like suitcases. When you are born, the sanchita is there, this endless landfill of karma phalas, out of which material constituting the sanchita, one piece is broken away and then put in a suitcase, which has 2 compartments. Oh, for top wear and bottom wear, like shirt and pant. No, papa, punya. 2 compartments. A very heavy suitcase that is born along with the child. Then there is a light suitcase which gets filled up. That is for agami karma. Already 2 compartments are there. What is that? What are the 2 compartments for? Papa and punya. And then this is where all the karma you do in this life goes into this suitcase. The other suitcase starts off heavy, becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, and is empty at the time of the jiva's death. This is called prarabdha suitcase. And the other one is agami suitcase. The agami suitcase also has all the papas and punyas that you have done or going to do now, and then at the end of the life it starts off light at the end of the life it is extremely heavy, and then goes on the Sukshma Sharira plane to be, it becomes the material for reincarnation, rebirth. This is what we have to understand. It becomes the material for rebirth. So where does this Agami suitcase, when it is full, go? It goes back to Sanchita. So Sanchita is the main place, and it is, karma is a model, like physics, a model in physics, just like that, karma is also a model. It's relative, not absolute. Karma, karma phala, etc. are dependent on what? Dharma. So dharma is a model, karma is also a model. So as long as I follow dharma, I am in good karmic practices, good karma phala will come, like that I can be assured. And so, like this, one leads one's life, and then this is what is called agami karma. The agami karma also goes bye-bye as soon as one has self-knowledge. As soon as you have self-knowledge, it goes bye-bye. Just like if you have a dream, 3 fellows are chasing me. Oh no, terrible. I'm trying to run in the dream. Run, ha, breathless. So much I have ran. And then these 3 fellows are behind me. Oh my God, they almost caught me. And then thankfully I wake up. Do I continue to run after waking up? No. And what are the 3 fellows? What are their names? Sanchita, Agami, Mr. Prarabdha. I have woken up. I have called their bluff. This karma theory is like a trainer wheel on a child's bicycle. The child doesn't know how to ride, so the parents will put an extra wheel so that it can be safe on the road until it can balance. After 1 week of falling and going this way, that way, driving badly, the child learns how to balance. What happens to the trainer wheels? You remove them because they are no use at all. Similarly, the karma is designed to make us walk on the road of dharma. Karma phala, this is all individual and collective accountability, responsibility, all these things. But when that has been achieved, for a jnani, there is a very nice octet called Shukashtakam, and the refrain is Ko vidhihi, ko nishedhaha. For a jnani, there is no vidhi, there are no do's and don'ts. All the do's and don'ts are until the knowledge takes place, because after the knowledge takes place, one is not in a place to violate anything, one is not in a mental framework to question anything, one is just surrendered to Bhagavan as the truth of oneself, surrendered to Bhagavan as a devotee from the standpoint of this body-mind-sense complex, knowing full well I am that same consciousness which Bhagavan is, and then there is no reason to rebel. There is no reason to go against dharma. Dharma has become oneself. Dharma becomes oneself, and then as a result, there are no rules for a jnani. You must get up, you must do this, you must do that is not there, because they are not, their whole life after Atmajnanam is not about violating rules. Many times one wants to become a jnani so that one can violate rules, but that is not how it works. Yeah?
Can I
follow up on this one? Yeah.
No, because my doubt was this, I understood that there is kind of karma that we, for example, if I become a moment that I have self-knowledge, but then talking to you, perhaps the things that I can tell you can hurt you. Not because I want to hurt you, because perhaps you're not prepared to really listen to this.
Yeah.
And this is kind of karma too?
Yeah. This is agami karma, like stepping. But if you have self-knowledge, agami karma doesn't touch you. it goes to the people, the punya that one does goes to the people who worship the jnani, and the papa that one does goes to the people who vilify the jnani. That is what it is. That is what Tattva Bodha says. Very, very powerful Tattva Bodha's message at the end. I am confused about the three types of karmas. If one can dissolve prarabdha karma by experiencing happiness and suffering only in this life, right? If so, sanchita karma can work in the same way, or if we give up the idea of doership, which can exhaust the prarabdha sanchita agami. Please clarify. Yeah, see, we have already talked about this. So let's have another metaphor. Sanchita is like a big ball of dough, all right? And then one small ball is broken out and then it is extended. If you are in Italy, then you throw it in the oven with some vegetables and topping. What happens? Pizza. Or you go with that. What is belan in English?
Rolling pin.
Yeah, you go with that rolling pin, roll it out and put it on the hot griddle and make it into chapati. That is prarabdha. Okay. So, and then we already have the suitcase metaphor. Both the prarabdha suitcase and agami suitcase come with a combination lock, and the combination lock number you will never know. Who knows? Bhagavan in the form of the keeper of karma called Chitragupta. Chitragupta knows. Gupta means hidden. The Chitragupta is the first accountant. Now, even now, accountants are called Guptas because they should not be able to tell everybody's affairs to everybody else. There is some secrecy involved. But here the secrecy is extreme because you yourself don't know what is in the agami. You yourself don't know. Agami maybe you know because you have done it just now, but you don't know what is in the prarabdha suitcase. Every day it just spits out. Whatever has to be experienced, sometimes many times a day, it spits out. And you can't argue. You can't say things like, what is that, You can't just go like this to the mosquito and then argue that, well, when it came to bite me, I did some blood donation. So can't this be punya rather than papa? No. It's already set. So this is the three types of karma. Prarabdha gets exhausted by experiencing it. Even a jnani, from the standpoint of the onlookers, is experiencing prarabdha, but from her own standpoint, his own standpoint, the jnani is not aligned with the body. So whatever is happening to the body, is happening to the senses, etc. So like this, the jnani can localize the problem to this body. This body is undergoing something. I am not this body. This is dhrida nishchaya, a complete and full ascertainment on part of the jnani. Okay, and so therefore this is the prarabdha karma. But we see the jnani. We saw Pujya Swamiji first walking around, then having an operation, then having another operation, then in the wheelchair, we saw. And we would say, perhaps, those who don't know better, the local lay people would say, oh, Swamiji, Mahatma is experiencing karma. But from the standpoint of the Mahatma, there is no karma. Some body is there, and then this is what is happening. Pujya Swamiji, when he was ailing, he told me this once. I went to see him after one more operation. He was in Coimbatore only. He was in the ICU. So I went there, and then he said, I said, I really wish the body didn't have to suffer so much, Swamiji. I remember telling him that. And then he said, very lovingly, he said, this body is no longer my body. The bhaktas have taken control over this body. What medicine I will take, when I should sleep, when I should eat, when I should, what kind of things I should eat, when I should teach, all this, they have taken control over this body. But then he had a twinkle in his eye and he said, but the pain only I have to experience. They have taken over the body, they cannot take over the pain. So like this, the body becomes everybody's property, the body of a jnani, even when alive. Because everybody wants a piece of the jnani, and so the body is no longer, the jnani already gave up ownership of the body, and as soon as you give ownership up, what happens? Everybody else is there wanting to take some ownership. Simple. That is what happens. And then, so that is prarabdha, agami we saw, sanchita is, if you have had one life as a human being, even one life, that's enough to engender endless amounts of sanchita karma. Endless amounts. So, that is what is karma. Let's change the topic. Okay, another question. Can you please explain, one, the upadhi of Ishvara? Limitless upadhi. Upadhi means that samipe sthitva swarupam anyatra adhatte iti upadhi. Sitting next to something, that which lends its attributes to something that does not have attributes is called upadhi. And what is the stock example? Crystal. So the crystal is there, and then behind the crystal I put white cloth. Then what does it become? Brahmachari. Okay. New brahmachari has joined the course, we can say. Then you put orange cloth, little bit orange you put, then what? Say namaste to Swami Kristalananda. Okay, so this way we can have many things like this. So similarly, upadhi is this, so this body is the upadhi for the Atma. Staying very close to the Atma, it gives the formless Atma a form, a name, and which is all important and we need to have for the sake of transactions. Vyavahara yogya, the body is Vyavahara yogya, Atma is Vyavahara ayogya. It is not ready, it is not okay for it to have any kind of truck with anything. The Atma does not have any job, cannot do anything, but as though associated with this body, the Atma satta spurti pradanena, by lending its existence and by lending its ability by lending its existence and its ability to shine, what does it do? It brings everything to light. We are all shining in borrowed light. The ahankara is shining in borrowed light. That is what it is doing. So the upadhi of Ishvara, limitless upadhi. The whole Jagat is the upadhi of Ishvara. Maya Shakti in the form of all knowledge and the power to create is the upadhi of Ishvara. Okay. Then few more questions on upadhi. Is avidya same as upadhi? See, upadhi is a general term. Avidya is one of the upadhis. So Ishvara's upadhi is Maya and Maya Shakti, all knowledge, and Jiva's upadhi is what? Avidya. One of the upadhis of the Jiva. Body, mind, sense complex also upadhi. Then avidya is also upadhi. So the Jiva's upadhi is self-ignorance. Sits in a corner wearing a dunce cap. This is what the jiva is. Then, in totality, how is avidya Maya? I don't understand this. Whose question is this? Yeah. Tell me what you mean by number 3. In totality, how is avidya Maya means what?
In Swamiji's class, he had made a statement.
Yeah.
In totality, avidya is Maya. So I just noted when he said it, but
Okay. So in totality means the general upadhi for all jivas is what? Avidya. Yes. That is the general individual upadhi. Now at the level of the total, because everything is at the micro and the macro levels, so on the macro level, Maya in the form of all knowledge becomes the upadhi for Ishvara. Because Ishvara is not ignorant. The shadow side of Maya is reserved for the jiva. Maya as avidya with her 2 shaktis, the covering shakti called avarana shakti and then the projecting shakti called vikshepa shakti. So, we can't do anything about the projection. Why? Because it is Ishvara Srishti. Just because everything is one, pralaya will not take place. The world will continue to look different. Correct? But then there is a change in me when I see it through the eyes of self-knowledge. The change is in me. So I look upon Ishvara as Maya Upadhi. Maya Upadhita, the Upahita Ishvaraha. So one who has all knowledge. And we can't even say he, she, because the she and he are one. They cannot be separated. Ishvara, even though we are using the word, don't think of a guy in the sky. That is not the understanding here. Okay? So, this Maya, all Shakti, all knowledge, all the ability to create, to take back, etc., that is the Upadhi. and the Vikshepa is this Jagat. Vikshepa Shakti is in the form of this Jagat, starting with your own body-mind complex. So there is nothing we can do to remove that because you didn't make it. And so what is the thing we can do? At the most, what we can do is remove the avarana. My nature being hidden from myself, I can remove. How? Always the answer is the same. Through listening, Shravana of the Shastra. Okay? I hope that is clear. Yes. Yeah.
The knowledge is not limiting. The limiting adjuncts are called as upadhi. So in case of Ishvara, how can knowledge become upadhi? Because it is not limiting. Knowledge is limiting.
And we already said, do not translate upadhi as limiting adjunct. Swamiji already cautioned that. It's a very strange word, limiting adjunct. And then we put it as though limiting. Even in the case of the jiva, it's as though limited. It's not really limited. Limitless upadhi. It's like the ocean and the wave. In relation to the wave, the ocean is limitless. Wave has a particular small form, name, etc. But then, if the wave starts to feel sad, very, very sad, I'm bad, I'm a tiny wave. In my youth, I was a breaker, I was a surf, I was a tsunami. It's recalling, it's showing photos to its friends. Yeah. And then now I don't even have enough energy to go to the shore and come back. What to do? No. Another wave comes, a small wave, smaller still wave. How come you look so happy? This sad wave asks the other wave. You are smaller than me, but you are looking happy. How come? Why are you unhappy? The other wave asks. Where are you from? I'm from Indian Ocean. I'm from the Indian Ocean. Oh, are you a guru wave? Yes. If you think of yourself as a shishya, then I can be a guru wave. And then, yes, please teach me the secret of your happiness. Well, it's no secret, it can be your knowledge too. What are you made up of? There is no difference between you and the ocean. No, there is difference. Ocean is God. I am at best odd. Ocean is all. I am small. Ocean is cause. I am just because. What is the ocean made up of? Water. What are you made up of? Water. You see, when we say this, we are transcending the upadhis. So the oceanic upadhi is given up in the understanding that the oceanic upadhi is nothing but water with a name and form. And the wave upadhi is also given up because it is nothing but water with another kind of a finite name and form. So that is how we say limitless upadhi. Upadhi means it doesn't have any limits at all. In Tattva Bodha, who am I? Okay, and then another follow-up. What is the connection? No, not connection. Relationship between individual and Ishvara. In Tattva Bodha, who am I? Satchidananda Swarupaha. Sthula Sharirat Bhinnaha. Separate from the physical body, separate from the subtle body, separate from the causal body, which is ignorance, separate from the 5 koshas where mistakes are made, separate from the dreamer, sleeper, and waker, separate from the one who is a karta, one who defines himself as a karta, separate from one who considers oneself a bhokta, according to this, what is that? Tattva Bodha, this yas tishtati, that is there, sa Atma. And the nature of this Atma is then unfolded very, very beautifully by help of the equation Tat Tvam Asi. There is a very interesting thing about equation. 5 is equal to 5. Is that an equation? No. Because that is already well known. How can it be an equation? 5 is equal to 5? Anybody will know, even a child will know that. 5 is equal to 5 is not an equation because it's stating the obvious. And then 5 is equal to 2. Is that an equation? Cannot be an equation. You can't arrive at that. So then, what is an equation? So, if we say something like 100 minus 91 is equal to 4 plus 5. And then the child who is listening to this teacher is completely flabbergasted. One side double digits, minus sign, another side plus digits. So, single digit, plus sign. How are we going to understand this? What are we going to do? And so therefore, you have to arrive at that. You have to do the math. The child cannot say, I believe you, teacher. I have a lot of shraddha, you must be right. It doesn't work that way. So same thing we do to the jiva's side. On the jiva's side, like harvesting fresh potatoes. What do you have to do? You have to beat them on the side of the road to take out excessive things like dust, dirt and roots of other plants which have just come along with the potatoes. You have to beat the potatoes on the side of the road to dislodge the dirt and the clumps of earth and other vegetation. So what am I doing when I am beating the potatoes? Non-potato, non-potato, non-potato I am taking out. so that I can only go home with the potatoes. This we have to do on the jiva's side. So body is not reckoned, mind is not reckoned, senses are not reckoned. Only that thing which is abaditham sat, that thing which cannot be removed is reckoned, which is I. I cannot be removed, so therefore I take myself into consideration, and that I is the one who is the indweller of the body, mind, sense complex. What is this I? Consciousness, awareness. Okay. Then I have to do the same potato beating on the Ishvara side also. Fadar, fadar, fadar. I just throw the potatoes repeatedly and off comes Sarvavettatvam, all-knowingness. Sarva Shaktiman, all Shakti comes out, everything comes out. Everything comes out. What is left? Satchidananda. That existence is left, which is not jada, which is not inert, and which never comes to an end. That consciousness is left. Here also what was left? That consciousness alone was left, which is not inert, which is existent and limitlessly existent. And therefore the two are one. This is who I am. I am non-separate from Ishvara according to the Tattva Bodha. What is the relationship between individual Jiva and Ishvara? No difference. The only difference is one complains and the other one does not complain. Guess who does not complain? Ishvara. Yeah, you got it right. No difference. The Jiva makes, because of this notion of alienation, notion of feeling separate from everything else, that is why the complex I am alone, I need something to complete me, I am incomplete. And then these beliefs are so entrenched that as a result the person keeps on doing some frenetic activity to feel complete. Next one. Why is there any reality at all? Why must anything exist? Why isn't there just nothingness? If there was nothingness, then there would be no Vedanta, no course, and nothing. There would be nothing. But that isn't the setup. The setup is that of this Satchidananda, which has as though manifested in many, many names, many, many forms, in the form of this beautiful Jagat and all the creatures in this Jagat. That is the reality happens to be there. If nothing was there, we couldn't be having this conversation. If nothingness was the reality of this world, or of the truth of myself is nothing, then what is the point? What is the point of anything at all? So therefore, this life becomes very, very meaningful when we look at everything as a gift, as a gift from Ishvara. When we look at it like that, it just becomes very purposeful, meaningful, and it's also purposeful and meaningful to discover, as I told you in the Gita class this morning, to discover one's place in the universe. Becomes very, very beautiful and meaningful. We don't say that the world has come due to sorrow. No. That is the Buddhist premise. The cause of the world is dukkha. No. We say the cause of the world is Ananda, Satchidananda. Ananda is the cause of the world, it's joy. World is not sorrow. Only the way I look at it perhaps will make it sorrowful for me, but it is not sorrow. It's the wrong perception of the world that gives rise to sorrow. Birth is also joy, world is also joy. Yes, Shreyas.
What I meant to ask by that question is, I know I exist
Yes.
because I'm here observing things.
Right.
But, I mean, why do I exist? Because if I have to use the clay pot example, it's dependent origination. So if I take away the clay, the pot disappears. If I take away atoms, the clay disappears. If I keep working backwards, then I get to consciousness. And consciousness is not dependent on anything.
Yes.
So working backwards, we get this whole framework of Vedanta, which is brilliant.
Yes.
But if we work forwards, what does consciousness, why is it there at all? Why can't nothingness just be there? Because obviously this is theoretical, since something does exist.
Yeah.
Why isn't there?
It's a hypothetical question, I understand, yeah. So, why can't there be nothingness? Well, that's not how the setup is. Yeah, that's all. We don't have an answer for why can't there be nothingness, because the world is Sat Chit Ananda. I am Sat Chit Ananda. The truth of Ishvara is Sat Chit Ananda. If Sat Chit Ananda did not exist, hypothetically, then there would be no need for this conversation at all. But the fact that there is a question shows that one is there, one is engaged, and then nothing, you see, even though everything has dependent reality, mithya, 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 but we have to remember a very important definition of mithya. Two definitions of mithya exist. The first one is anirvachya, sad asadbhyam, that which cannot be categorically dismissed as non-existent, and that which cannot be categorically affirmed as existent. This is a very important definition. Even more important or equally important is the other definition of mithya, which is what? Adhishthana ananyat. Wherever there is mithya, sat cannot be far behind. Yatra yatra mithya, tatra tatra sat. Wherever there is mithya, there is sat, just like wherever there is shirt, there is fabric. So like this. And so, it's not that mithya, mithya, mithya all the way and there is mithya is nothingness. No, mithya is sat. Sat is not mithya. Mithya resolves into sat. So wherever I see mithya, sat cannot be far behind. To understand this will take time, and there is a shortcut, there is a little hack to understand it quickly. So I can help myself by looking upon the whole world as Ishvara. And then I can see the whole world as Bhagavan, as an extension of Bhagavan. Everything is the iteration of Bhagavan, the presence of Bhagavan. And then later on, after this knowledge firmly dwells in my heart, then I can start seeing that this Bhagavan is nothing but me. That's the second step. Yatra yatra manoyati, tatra tatra tavapada pankajam. This vision is described like this in the Drig Drishya Viveka. Wherever the mind goes, then that's where, O Lord, I see, O Goddess, O Lord, I see your lotus feet. Wherever the mind goes, on whatever item in the universe it falls on, I see only you. Then later it is converted to Yatra yatra manoyati, tatra tatra samadhayah. Wherever the mind lands, that is where the fusion between the subject and object takes place, because I understand fully that the object is no longer separate, as I thought, from the subject. And there is another question. Given that there is a reality, why does it take the form that it does? Why not some other form with some different fundamental laws? This doesn't have to be rational. I mean, why must there be logic? The laws could be entirely random and chaotic. Yeah, possible. But what we observe is that even in the randomness there is order. We observe that. Maybe there are certain parallel universes where randomness reigns, we don't know. But in this universe, what we observe is that it's eminently predictable. That's why we can study the laws. Even in quantum physics, we can see that it is just so predictable. It's predictable means it can be studied. It can be studied means it can be known. It can be known means it can be communicated. It can be experienced. And so therefore, we see that this, even when we say it's just randomness, we cannot call it fully randomness because there is an intelligence behind it. Everything has an intelligence behind it. You see, sometimes they are finding out new species, deep sea creatures. Deep sea creatures where there is no light. How do they sense a predator? How do they sense a friend? They make themselves extremely iridescent, colorful, bright. They generate their own light for the sake of propagation of the species and for the sake of, how dare you come near me, get away, otherwise I'm going to eat you, for the sake of saving themselves from becoming extinct. This is intelligence. This is great intelligence. You see this not only in all the animals, you see it in plants also. The plant wants the sun, and it's, let's say, a creeper, it's creeping. It somehow creeps towards the sun. They did an experiment, some botanists. They unwound the creeper wherever it had crept and made itself into all these nice, neat little rounds. They unwound it gently and wound it near the shade. 2 nights later, it had already made its way back. Who teaches? Nobody teaches. There is not a class for plants, creepers. Oh, ye creepers, go towards the light. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. How do they know? They know because they have they have intelligence. That intelligence is the one akhanda. Akhanda means unbroken intelligence whose source is what? Chit, from the Sat Chit Ananda. It is the various manifestations of the Chit, because even when they talk about chaos theory, that also is predictable. Otherwise they won't make it a theory. Chaos theory is predictable. Black hole, where people are not even understanding what happens completely, that is also predictable. What happens at the event horizon is surmised through various kinds of things, but that is also predictable. And then now they have this James Webb telescope. It's what is that? Its older brother, Hubble, has started to hobble because this one sees things that we never saw, and this one surmises things also. Now they found one more Goldilocks planet. What is a Goldilocks planet? Neither too hot nor too cold. Like the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears. And so like this, neither too hot nor too cold. Why do we want a planet that's neither too hot nor too cold? Because we have messed up this planet so badly that we need another place to live in case we blow this up. So the NASA scientists are on a mission. So this James Webb telescope spied a planet. It did not see it, but it saw its gravitational field, and from that they could surmise the density of the planet, the volume of the planet, what kind of a mass it was. Was it mostly gases, or also did it have dirt? Everything they could tell. It's just amazing. Because everywhere you see any of these things in the manifest universe, when you say such and such exists, we just say such and such is, and that is just knowledge. Flower is means what? Flower knowledge is. Chaos is, chaos knowledge is. Random theory is, random theory knowledge is. Chair is, chair knowledge is. Because whatever you see about the chair is nothing other than knowledge. It is put together very nicely, whether it's human made or whether it is Bhagavan made, it is put together to serve an intelligent purpose. So the knowledge of the flower cannot be separated from the existence of the flower. So therefore, it's an intelligent existence. It's not a dumb or a jada existence. Jada means inert. If animal has no free will, how is it decided if the animal will reincarnate as a human being or as an equal or lower level being? Ishvara decides. Thankfully, the animal doesn't decide. Bhagavan decides, because if the animal janma was just for one life, one was condemned to an animal life because of certain papas. Then after that life is over, the other life punyas from the Sanchita can coalesce together for Bhagavan to give you a human life. Okay, that is how it is. When you look at the world, what do you see? Whatever you see. Yeah. But the spirit of the question is, I think, how to look at the world without prejudice. I think that is what is being asked. That takes time. It takes some training. It takes a whole lot of Vedanta. It takes time. It takes time to get to this place, or to get to the place of looking at the world without raga and dvesha. We will be studying that quite a bit in the Amrita Bindu Upanishad. So that conversation is to be continued. Then, what's the best way to deal with anxiety, stress, fear, until the absolute knowledge of the self? So, what is the best way to deal with anxiety? Anxiety means fear. Fear means two things. Fear means I have a feeling of being out of control. That's when fear comes. I'm not controlling anything. The fact that I'm not controlling anything is really true. So there's nothing to be afraid. If I'm under the wrong impression that I'm controlling everything, then there is plenty of things to be afraid of. But the truth is, I'm not controlling anything. I don't control the weather, I don't even control what is happening to my own body, and then so this control is not even there. So therefore, I'm not, when I understand, I'm not controlling anything, still the desire to control is strong, I have to let go of the desire at the altar of surrender. Give that desire to control to Bhagavan. Just say, hey, you, take it. You gave it to me, I don't want it, take it. Take it back. And when you surrender in this manner, then the fear will be less and less. The other cause for fear is not the object of fear, but the fear itself. Fear itself is the cause. And so therefore, you can have a cup of tea with the fear. Make 2 cups and then put one in front of the other side, sit on the chair, you sit on here, and they say, okay, let's spend some time together. What do you want from me? What are you trying to show? Come on, show yourself. And then you will see that you are no longer afraid. And whatever you are afraid of, whatever you are anxious of, will be a very small thing which you can take care of. But anxiety generally is because one feels or one fears, one has no control. Like sitting on a plane, some people get anxious. Why? You are not in the cockpit driving. and you don't trust. Anxiety comes from feeling out of control. Out of control feeling comes from a sense of distrust. Okay? Yeah. That's how to work with it.
Awareness brings control. That I have observed that if you are aware of something, we get control over that thing. For example, my emotions.
Yeah, but we don't call it controlling mind, controlling emotions. We don't use that word because it's too harsh and we can't really control the emotions. We manage the emotions. Manage is a kinder word because control means absolute, and also it's harsh because it's not possible to control. Manage.
Yes.
Yeah, you manage. So you manage the mind, you manage the emotions, and here the thing is about fear, anxiety. Anxiety is because there is an out of control feeling. So think about it, have a cup of tea with the anxiety, find out where it is out of control. What is my life? What part of my life is out of control? Let me see, and think about it, and the answer will come, and then you can surrender that, work with it, etc. If there is ever such a thing called heaven, is this it? Self-knowledge definitely is it. Ihaiva taihi jitas sargaha yesham samye sthitam manaha, the 5th chapter says. By those jnanis, the heaven has been gained right here and right now, whose minds dwell in equanimity. Very beautiful. Then, with deep reverence, I have dedicated my life to Vedantic way of life through consistent Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. I have diligently imbibed the core values of Vedanta, cultivating Jnana and Vairagya, which has resulted into profound dual, no, it can't be dual, profound something, happiness. Profound happiness. That's enough, okay. Then it was through Pujya Swamiji's talks on YouTube that I was first guided on this path. His teachings have been instrumental for me, gaining both Jnana, Vairagya, deepening my cognition, my understanding, and strengthening my resolve. I continuously listen to Jagat Guru of Dwarika. Now, with full heart of devotion and unswerving commitment, I express my deep desire to take Diksha and Sannyasa. I feel a strong calling to bear the torch of Guru Shishya Parampara, ensuring the continuation of the sacred lineage. I am fully committed to the following path shown by Adi Shankara, Pujya Swamiji, dedicating my life to carrying forward the inspiring mission through those so generously shared. Please guide on how to proceed. Very simple. Very nice that you have been studying Vedanta. Very good. And the thing to do first is to dress the heart in an orange dhoti. Yes. Dress the heart in orange. First one becomes a sannyasi internally. Internally, you have an attitude of sannyasa and all the things that it signifies, non-reactivity and love for this knowledge, all the things, simple living, minimalistic ideologies, all these things. What is that called? Freedom from arrogance, pride, humility. All these are sannyasi values. So the first thing to do is to cultivate those values. And the second thing to do, very clear, is to be here now. If I focus on sannyasa, then what will happen is that right now, the abidance in the now, which is the hallmark of moksha, goes away. Because I have become I am future oriented. That is why I learn to live here, I learn to live now, I learn to let go. I'll tell you a very beautiful story, not story really, the reply of Pujya Swamiji to a similar question. So this person asked, when am I going to get sannyasa, Swamiji? Swamiji said, when you no longer want it. That is the secret. You can't pretend to not want it. Once the values are imbibed, it doesn't matter what color dress I wear, what diksha, what mantra I have, whether people offer me a seat and delectable things to eat, all that doesn't matter. Whether people acknowledge me or not doesn't matter at all. I'm only answerable to myself. And so I have to learn, because even sannyasa is a strong want, correct? There is a strong want in this letter, in this question about sannyasa. So that strong want becomes what? The hold of raga. Yes. So this is what you will get sannyasa. If you have a desire for it, let it go. Let it come. You will get it as soon as you no longer want it. You can't say, oh, okay, I don't want it anymore. No, that's cheating, because secretly you want it. Ho gaya. I thought as much.
Swaminiji, that's my question.
I thought as much. Yeah. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhaved, asato ma Om Purnamadah Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Important announcement.